Okay, guys, let us start our today's topic. Today, we are going to discuss about another social evil, that is alcoholism. So, what is this alcoholism? So, alcoholism is defined as a consumption, regular consumption of alcohol, regular consumption of alcohol, leading to physical and mental dependence. Mental dependence is known as alcoholism. Is known as alcoholism. So, alcoholism is defined as a regular consumption of alcohol leading to physical and mental dependence. That is the alcoholism. So, if a person consumes alcohol regularly, if a person consumes alcohol every day regularly, and this alcohol consumption causes him physical and mental dependence, so the person is said to be alcoholic. So, we say that person is suffering from alcoholism, right? So, this person who mostly remains drunk, a person who generally remains drunk, that person is known as a drunkard. So a person who mostly remains drunk, the person is said to be a drunkard. So this alcoholism, it may make a person drunkard. So which group is most likely to fall victim to this alcoholism? So adolescents are the risk group, are the risk group for alcoholism and drug addiction. So adolescents, teenagers, they are the risk group for both alcoholism and drug addiction. So let us discuss now what are the factors which lead a person towards the alcohol, which lead a person towards the alcoholism. So let us discuss those factors which take a person towards the alcoholism. Factors leading to alcoholism. So the first important factor which leads towards the alcoholism is social pressure. Social pressure. If we are living in a society where alcohol is commonly or generally served in parties and functions, then we are most likely to become alcoholic. Because if you visit a party or if you visit a function and alcohol is served there, and if you even deny to take alcohol, but your friends, your colleagues, your relatives, they may force you to take a little bit of alcohol, to take one sip of alcohol. So once you take one sip, then you may be asked to take another sip, you may be asked to take another sip, and you start consuming alcohol. So this social pressure, it is the most important thing in this alcoholism, right? So if a person is living in an alcoholic society where alcohol is being commonly served in parties, functions, or even at home, then the person is likely to fall victim to this alcoholism, right? the person may be forced to take alcohol. He takes once by force, but next time he may ask for the alcohol by himself, right? So this social pressure, it is the one important factor which leads to alcoholism. Then there is another point, that is desire for doing something extraordinary, or we can say desire for excitement. Desire for excitement. Our adolescents, they always are thinking of something extraordinary. They are always thinking of doing something extraordinary. So they are in a state of excitement. And in this state of excitement, they try to do some different things. And one of the things they do, particularly when they are on outings, that is they consume alcohol, right? So this desire for excitement, it may also lead a person towards the alcoholism. So when our youth, when they go for outings, when they are alone, partying at some place, there they consume the alcohol. They want to do something extraordinary. And they want to do this something extraordinary by consuming alcohol, right? They are always thinking to do something new. So this may also lead them towards the alcoholism, right? Then there is another factor, that is curiosity. Curiosity to taste alcohol. To taste alcohol. Some persons, they are very curious when they see people consuming alcohol, even if they are abstained from consuming alcohol by their parents or by their other friends. But still, they have a curiosity. They want to know the taste of alcohol. So they try to find people who are consuming alcohol. So they go to those people and they ask them for alcohol. Once they taste this alcohol, they develop that hangover effect. So they start feeling it good and they may become alcoholic. So we should always try to avoid this alcohol or those persons who are consuming alcohol. Because when you see people consuming alcohol, you develop curiosity how this alcohol tastes. You want to know the taste of this alcohol. Then you fall in the group of those alcoholics and they will also make you an alcoholic. So curiosity to taste alcohol, it should be immediately suppressed, right? It should be remembered that once you taste alcohol, then you are likely to go towards this alcoholism and you may also become an alcoholic, right? So that is another point. As a remedy, another point which leads to alcoholism, that is, some people think that alcohol is a remedy for hardships, hardships of daily life. Every person is every person is supposed to face the challenges of life. Life is not a bed of roses. It poses sometimes very serious challenges to a person. But if a person tries to escape those challenges by consuming alcohol, he is likely to become an alcoholic. I remember a film song where the hero was singing, मुझे पीने का शौक नहीं, पीता हूँ गम बुलाने को, तेरी यादें मिटाने को. So people think that they will consume alcohol and it will help them to get rid of their sufferings. It will help them to erase their uh, worst experiences, right? So they try to consume alcohol to escape the hardships of daily life, right? So this also makes them alcoholic. So alcohol is no remedy for overcoming the hardships of daily life. So one has to be bold, one has to find solutions, and one has to solve his problems by himself. So alcohol does not serve any purpose in solving the problems of daily life. Family history. A person may also become alcoholic because of his family history. If his parents, if his elders are consuming alcohol on daily basis in their home, in his home, right? So he is also likely to taste the alcohol and he is also likely to become an alcoholic. So if parents are alcoholic, they should always try to consume alcohol away from their children, in the absence of their children. Because if children see parents consuming alcohol, so they are encouraged for taking alcohol, right? So if the parents, if the elders of a person are alcoholic, he is likely to become alcoholic also because he is encouraged for taking alcohol, consuming alcohol. So this family history may also become make a person alcoholic. Similarly, bad company. Bad company. If a teenager, if an adolescent falls in bad company of the alcoholics, he is also likely to become alcohol. An adolescent is going to college or is going to school. In the college, there are some boys who are consuming alcohol, and he makes company with them. So their bad company is likely to make him alcoholic also. So parents should keep an eye on their children, whether they are not in bad company, right? So these are some factors which may make a person alcoholic. So first and most important factor is social pressure. So if alcohol is commonly, if alcohol is generally served in the society, if alcohol is served in parties, functions openly, right, then this may also invite other people to become alcoholic. Desire for excitement. So some persons they want to do something extraordinary. They say, "Aaj kuch tufani karte hain," right? So for doing this tufani, they may consume alcohol, and that makes them alcoholic. So when our kids are going for parties or when they are going for outings, right? So we should ensure whether they have not consumed any alcohol. Curiosity to taste alcohol. Some persons they have strong craving for seeing the taste of alcohol, for looking at the taste of, for experiencing the taste of alcohol. So this curiosity, this craving to know the taste of alcohol, this may take you to alcoholic persons, and they may also make you alcoholic. They will provide you alcohol, and you may fall to this alcoholism. As a remedy for hardships of daily life. So many persons, all the people, they are suffering from the hardships of daily life. Every person has supposed to face the hardships of daily life. So some persons they want to escape these hardships. They want to get rid of the sufferings, and they consume alcohol, which anesthetizes their nervous system, and they go unconscious. They remain in a state of unconsciousness for a period of time. So they think that they got relief from their these sufferings, and they start doing it again and again, and they become alcoholic. Family history and bad company, they are other two factors which lead to alcoholism. So these are the factors which may lead a person towards the alcoholism. Now let us discuss the metabolism of alcohol. How the alcohol is metabolized in our body. Alcohol is not considered as a food, although it releases a lot of energy. But alcohol is not considered as a food. So why alcohol is not considered as a food? So we will see how this alcohol is metabolized in our body and why it is not considered as a food. So we will see alcohol metabolism. Alcohol is generally metabolized in liver and kidneys of our body. So when a person consumes alcohol, this alcohol absorption, it starts right from the oral cavity. So little quantities of this alcohol are absorbed through the mucous membrane of the buccal cavity. Then some of it is absorbed through the mucous membrane of the esophagus. then most of the alcohol absorption is carried out in stomach and intestine. So alcohol absorption starts right from oral cavity. Although little quantities are absorbed, then as it passes through the esophagus, some more quantities are absorbed. Alcohol doesn't require any digestion, so it is absorbed as such, right? But most of the alcohol absorption occurs in stomach and large intestine, in small intestine, right? So when the alcohol is absorbed, it goes into blood. Blood carries it to liver and kidneys. So when this ethanol, the alcohol which we consume is ethanol. So this ethanol in liver and kidneys is converted into ethanol is converted in liver and kidneys into acetaldehyde. Acetaldehyde. And in this process of conversion of ethanol into acetaldehyde, some coenzymes are reduced. NAD is reduced to NADH2. So alcohol dehydrogenases, they convert ethanol into acetaldehyde in liver and kidneys, and coenzyme NAD is reduced to NADH2. Then this acetaldehyde, which is a toxic substance, it generates free radicals. It generates free radicals. These free radicals, they have been proven. It has been proved that they are carcinogenic. They are known carcinogens. So they are cancer-causing substances, right? Then this acetaldehyde, which is very toxic, it is immediately converted there into acetic acid. It is then converted into acetic acid. And in this conversion of acetaldehyde into acetic acid, some more coenzymes are reduced. NAD is again reduced to NADH2. Then this acetic acid, it is again converted into acetyl coenzyme A. Acetyl coenzyme A. And then this acetyl coenzyme A is finally converted into carbon dioxide and water. And in this process, a lot of heat is produced. A lot of heat is generated. So this is an exothermic reaction. So this process is an exothermic process. So whenever a person consumes alcohol, the absorption of alcohol, it starts right from oral cavity. Alcohol is absorbed through walls of esophagus, walls of stomach and intestine. So it goes into blood, blood carries it to liver and kidneys. In liver and kidneys, alcohol dehydrogenase. They reduce, they oxidize this ethanol to acetaldehyde. This acetaldehyde, it is a very toxic substance. So it is immediately then converted into acetic acid. But this acetaldehyde, till it is converted into acetic acid, it releases some free radicals. And those free radicals, they are prone carcinogens. So these free radicals, they may cause damage to the liver, they may cause liver cancers. So as this acetaldehyde is converted into acetic acid, more coenzymes are reduced. Then acetic acid is converted into acetyl coenzyme A, and finally it is converted into carbon dioxide and water. So in this process, a lot of heat is generated. So in liver and kidneys, heat is generated. This excess heat, it is taken by blood. To get rid of this excess heat, blood takes this heat to the body surface, to the skin, and we feel warmth at the level of our skin. So we feel that our skin becomes warm. So we get the false feeling of warmth. If an alcoholic is present in cold environment, when he consumes some alcohol, after consuming alcohol, as the alcohol is metabolized, he gets the feeling of warmth. He starts getting off his clothes, right? He says there is no cold. He doesn't experience the cold, and he starts taking off his clothes, right? But this sense of warmness in the skin, it is only to get rid of this excess heat. So blood takes this excess heat to skin to get rid of this excess heat. But this reduces the core body temperature. And in this confusion of false warmth, A person may suffer from hypothermia and he may die. A person may suffer from hypothermia, his core body temperature may fall down, and suddenly his metabolic processes may stop and he may die, right? So, this perception, this feeling of false warmth, it is very dangerous to a person, particularly in cold environments, right? So, why do we say alcohol is not a food? Why don't we consider alcohol a food? So, when this ethanol is converted into carbon dioxide and water, many coenzymes are reduced. These coenzymes, when they accumulate in high concentration, when NADH accumulates in high concentration, it stimulates formation of formation of alcoholic fat. Alcoholic fat. That alcoholic fat is known as fatty acid ethyl esters. That alcoholic fat is known as fatty acid ethyl esters. So alcoholic fat, fatty acid ethyl esters, they are formed. Fatty acid ethyl esters are formed. And this alcoholic fat, it gets deposited in liver. Alcoholic fat gets deposited in liver. And it makes liver storehouse of fat. Storehouse of fat. So I will repeat it again. So we generally say alcohol is not considered as food. So why alcohol is not considered as food? So when the alcohol is metabolized in our body, it generates a lot of heat, and body has to get rid of that excess heat. So body spends its own energy in getting rid of this excess heat generated by alcohol. So body loses its own energy in the process of removing this excess heat from the body. So we are losing energy, but we are not gaining energy from the alcohol metabolism. And as this heat is transported to the skin, we develop a false perception of warmth. And this false perception of warmth, it decreases the core body temperature because because the receptors, heat receptors, which are located in our skin, they are continuously sending messages to the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is considered as thermostat of our body. So our thermostat is getting wrong information because alcoholic heat is being transported to the skin. So heat receptors which are present in skin, they are sending wrong information to the hypothalamus that body temperature is increasing, and hypothalamus starts lowering the body temperature. So the core body temperature falls. Core body temperature falls, and this may cause hypothermia. So our body has to get rid of this excess heat, and in doing so, our body is making expenditure of its own energy. So we are losing energy after consuming alcohol. We are not gaining energy. So that is why alcohol is not considered as a food, right? Then as the alcohol is metabolized, many coenzymes are reduced. As these reduced coenzymes are formed in high concentrations in excess, this leads to the formation of alcohol fat in the liver. So liver starts formation of alcoholic fats. Liver starts formation of fatty acid ethyl esters, and these alcoholic fats, they start getting deposited on the liver, and liver becomes storehouse of fat. Free radicals, they damage the hepatocytes. So normally those hepatocytes are replaced. Damaged hepatocytes, they are replaced by new hepatocytes. But as the fat is accumulating in the liver, this interferes with the replacement of the hepatocytes. Damaged hepatocytes are now not being replaced by new hepatocytes. Instead, that space is occupied by the alcoholic fat, and the liver starts shrinking in size. Liver starts shrinking in size, and at many places, scar tissue, fibrous tissue develops in the liver. The hepatocytes, which are getting damaged, which are getting killed, they are not replaced by new hepatocytes. But at those places, either fatty tissue develops or fibrous tissue develops. So scar tissue develop on the liver, and the size of liver shrinks. And this shrinking in size of liver due to accumulation of fat and fibrous tissue, this is known as liver cirrhosis. So it causes liver cirrhosis. And this liver cirrhosis, it may also then lead to liver cancer. A person may suffer from liver cancer due to the harmful effects of these free radicals, which may stimulate the liver cancer. So alcohol metabolism, it clearly indicates that it is not a food for our body, right? It causes damage, it causes liver cirrhosis and liver cancer. So this is how alcohol is metabolized in liver, right? So this alcohol metabolism, it has got very harmful effect on our liver and kidneys. So most of the damage is suffered by liver and kidney. Then this alcohol, it has also some effect on other body organs as well. So we will see the effect of alcohol on some other body organs. This alcohol does not only affect our liver and kidneys, it has its effect on other body organs as well. So we will see what is the effect of alcohol on other body organs. Effect of alcohol on central nervous system. Effect of alcohol on central nervous system. So we will see what is the effect of this alcohol on central nervous system, brain and spinal cord. This alcohol, it has got an anesthetic effect on CNS. So it anesthetizes our central nervous system. It depresses our central nervous system. It doesn't allow the central nervous system to work normally, to work properly. So when our central nervous system gets anesthetized, so what are its consequences? So as the person's central nervous system is anesthetized, he immediately suffers from loss of judgment. The person suffers immediately from loss of judgment, self-control. The person loses control over himself and willpower. So as the central nervous system is anesthetized, a person immediately suffers from loss of judgment. He cannot judge the distances properly. He may suffer from improper judgment, right? He cannot judge the persons properly. He loses his control. He loses self-control and willpower. The person may also suffer from loss of emotional control. Loss of emotional control. His emotions, they get out of control. The person may show immediately foolish laughter. A person may show foolish laughter. A person may start laughing loudly as a fool. So that is known as a foolish laughter. Or a person may start showing expressions of sadness. A person may become sad and start weeping. So this expression of foolish laughter or sadness or weeping, this is due to loss of emotional control. The person cannot control his emotions. Due to effect on central nervous system, a person may suffer from loss of moral sense. Moral sense. So person starts making antisocial activities. The person shows antisocial behavior. The person starts showing antisocial behavior. The person doesn't behave properly, right? The person at this juncture of time cannot differentiate between his wife daughter, and other women, right? So the person loses moral sense. The person loses moral sense and he becomes antisocial, right? A person may also suffer from visual problems. Visual problems. A person may have blurred vision. A person may have blurred vision. A person may have double vision, and the person may suffer from improper judgment of the distance. Judgment of distance. So, due to visual problems, a person suppose develops a blurred vision. He cannot see clearly, or sometimes he develops double vision. He can see two images of a single person. So he starts thinking that there are two persons when there is only a single person. And the person suffers from loss of judgment. The person suffers from improper judgment of the distance. If the person has to cross a narrow lane, he starts thinking that it is a river. A narrow drain, a narrow water body may seem to him as a large river, right? It is because of improper judgment of the distance. If the person is driving, a vehicle is very close to him. He sees it very far away. Or if the vehicle is very far away, it appears very close to him because loss of the judgment of distance, right? And this leads to accidents. A person may show also uncontrolled, uncontrolled, staggering gait, staggering gait. The person is unable to walk normally. The person loses his control on his movements and he shows that staggering gait. He moves right and left in an uncoordinated manner, right? And he shows incoherent. A person may develop incoherent speech. He loses coherence of the words in his speech. He doesn't speak properly, right? So these are the effects of alcohol on the central nervous system. So alcohol anesthetizes our central nervous system. It stops the central nervous system from functioning normally. So when nervous system is depressed, a person suffers from loss of judgment, self-control, willpower, loss of emotional control. A person may develop foolish laughter or he may start showing sadness and weeping. Loss of moral sense. The person starts showing antisocial behavior. He doesn't particularly behave properly with the women folk, right? Or he starts quarreling with other persons. So he shows antisocial behavior. A person may develop visual problems, blurred vision, or double vision, and improper judgment of the distance. Uncontrolled staggering gait. The person loses control over his gait and he is not able to walk in a straight line. He either goes right or left. He starts falling down, right? He loses his motorcycles, they are depressed. And the person also shows incoherent speech. You cannot clearly understand what the person is speaking because his words are not having any coherence, right? So this is the effect of alcohol on central nervous system. Now after this we will see the effect of alcohol on some other body organs. Alcohol affects almost all body organs, but certain organs are affected more and some are affected less. So let us see what is the effect of alcohol on some other body organs. Very hard to rub this board, using a lot of energy. Let us see the effect of alcohol on stomach. A large dose of alcohol, a large dose of alcohol causes gastric irritation, causes gastric irritation. It causes irritation to the gastric mucosa and release of release of gastric juice and excessive release of gastric juice. Excessive release of gastric juice, excessive secretion of gastric juice, and the mucosa may become inflamed and inflammation of inflammation of gastric mucosa. Gastric mucosa. So when a person consumes alcohol in large quantity, in large doses, these large doses of alcohol, they cause irritation to gastric mucosa because this alcohol is going into stomach, and the mucosa of the stomach, because of this alcohol, it gets irritated and it starts releasing gastric juice in excessive quantity. So stomach becomes filled with the excessive amounts of gastric juice, and the mucosa of the stomach, that may also become irritated, that may become inflamed. So excessive consumption of alcohol, it causes gastritis, inflammation of the stomach, gastritis, any biological term ending with itis indicates inflammation, right? So it causes gastritis, inflammation of the stomach, and it causes acidity, a release of large quantity of gastric juice. And because of this, the person may suffer from vomiting. The person mostly starts vomiting. So these alcoholics, they start vomiting after consuming alcohol. In order to avoid this vomiting, they take particularly proteinaceous food in large quantity. They take meat, they may take chicken, they may take fish after consuming alcohol, so that when the alcohol enters into stomach, it will stimulate the stomach mucosa to release gastric juice in large quantity, and that gastric juice will digest the proteins, and that protects them from the vomiting, right? So if they take alcohol empty stomach, they are likely to suffer from vomiting. In order to avoid vomiting, they have to take proteinaceous diet in the form of meat or in the form of fish in large quantity, so that their stomach is not irritated. So that is the effect of alcohol on stomach. Similarly, alcohol has got its effect on heart as well. As a person consumes alcohol, consumption of alcohol leads to formation of fatty acid ethyl esters. So this alcoholic fat, it is deposited. Alcoholic fat is deposited on the walls of arteries, and this narrows lumina of arteries. So the lumina of arteries, when it is narrowed down because of deposition of alcoholic fat, so it makes the heart to work harder to pump blood through these narrowed arteries. So when alcoholic fat is deposited on the walls of blood vessels, it reduces the lumen of blood vessels, and heart has to work harder to pump blood through these narrowed arteries. So this puts extra load on the heart muscles, and sometimes it may lead to heart failure or heart attack, cardiac arrest. It may lead to cardiac arrest. Heart stops working. Heart stops working altogether. So it may cause cardiac arrest. So when heart experiences extra load, extra burden to pump blood through the narrowed arteries, suddenly the heart muscles fail to contract, and that may cause cardiac arrest. When the blood is flowing through these narrowed arteries, it generates excessive pressure on the walls of arteries. So it causes hypertension. So person may suffer from high blood pressure. And you know this high blood pressure, hypertension, it is known as a silent killer. It doesn't give any indications, it doesn't give any symptoms till it strikes, right? So this hypertension known as silent killer, it may kill a person at any time, right? So this is the effect of alcohol on heart. So when a person consumes alcohol, it leads to formation of alcoholic fat. This alcoholic fat may be deposited on the walls of arteries, reducing the lumen of arteries, making the heart to work harder to pump the blood through these narrowed arteries. So this puts extra pressure on the heart muscles in generating enough force to pump the blood through these narrow arteries. So all of a sudden, heart muscles may stop functioning, and that may lead to a cardiac arrest. A person may die immediately. Or if the cardiac arrest doesn't happen, but heart is still generating forceful pressure, it is generating high pressure to pump the blood through these narrowed arteries. So blood flows through these narrowed arteries under high pressure, and this high pressure is likely to burst open any blood vessel, causing this. It may cause a stroke. It may cause a stroke. It may cause a cerebral stroke. It may cause hemorrhage. And the person experiences high blood pressure. And you know this high blood pressure is known as silent killer. It doesn't provide any symptoms, any indications till it damages the body, right? It may damage kidneys, it may damage brain, right? So this is the effect of alcohol on heart. So it may lead to cardiac arrest or it may cause hypertension, and hypertension will kill the person by different methods. So that is the effect of alcohol on heart. Then we will have a look at what is the effect of alcohol on the blood. Does blood suffer any change due to this entry of alcohol in it? Effect of alcohol on blood. Alcohol consumption causes hypoglycemia. Hypoglycemia. What is hypoglycemia? Fall in, fall in blood sugar level. Blood sugar level. So consumption of alcohol causes hypoglycemia, fall in blood sugar level. So that doesn't mean a person who is suffering from hyperglycemia, who is suffering from excessive glucose levels, will take alcohol and it will reduce his blood sugar level. No. This hypoglycemia, it is very dangerous for brain because brain needs the most of energy for its normal functioning, right? So if brain suffers from low sugar levels, if sufficient glucose is not supplied to the brain, so brain will be deprived of energy and the brain cells may suffer from death. So it has a tremendous, it has got a very, very severe effect on the functioning of our central nervous system. So due to hypoglycemia, our central nervous system gets depressed. Due to lack of blood supplies, our central nervous system gets depressed. Or we can say it gets anesthetized due to lack of glucose, right? It also causes thrombocytopenia. Thrombocytopenia. That means there is decrease in platelet count. Platelet count. So the circulating number of blood platelets is decreased. It falls down due to regular alcohol consumption, right? So this may cause hemorrhages through anus, through mouth, through nose. Our blood is coagulated by the help of these thrombocytes or platelets. So when there are no sufficient platelets in the body, blood coagulation is severely affected, and the person may suffer excessive bleeding even on minor cuts. Right? It also causes leukocytosis. Leukocytosis. Leukocytosis is abnormal increase. Abnormal increase in number of circulating WBC. So the number of circulating WBCs becomes abnormally high. So this is known as leukocytosis. So this is the effect of alcohol on blood. Now we will see the effect of alcohol on sexual function. Does alcohol affect our sexual organs or reproductive organs? Does alcohol affect our sexual function? Yes. Alcohol consumption may remove the sexual inhibitions. When a person when a person so when a person consumes alcohol, this alcohol consumption it removes sexual inhibition. Sexual inhibition. That means an alcoholic becomes sexually provoked. His sexual thoughts and sexual instincts, they are stimulated, right? But it takes away the performance. So we will say like this: alcohol consumption removes sexual inhibition. So promotes alcohol consumption promotes the sexual act, the sexual act, but takes away the performance. The performance. So alcohol may induce sexual thoughts and sexual feelings in you. So it may stimulate you sexually. So it promotes the sexual act. It promotes the sexual act, but takes away the performance. What does that mean? Alcohol consumption causes poor erection. Person may become sexually aroused, but the penis does not get fully erect. It causes poor erection. If the penis gets erect, it slowly damages the seminiferous tubules in the testes of the person. Testes, they have seminiferous tubules in them. A regular consumption of alcohol destroys the seminiferous tubules of the testes. So a person is not able to produce semen in appropriate quantities. So the person becomes sexually sterile. So it promotes the act but takes away the performance. So it makes you sexually aroused. But in the long run, a person will not have proper erection. A person will develop erectile dysfunction syndrome, and the person's seminiferous tubules, they will be destroyed, and the person will not produce semen. So he will become sterile. So due to long alcohol abuse, a person will become impotent. Although sexual thoughts, sexual feelings, they may arise in his brain, but it will not lead to proper erection, and the semen will not be produced in appropriate quantities. So a person will become impotent, or he will become a sterile. So it promotes the act but takes away the performance. Similarly, that is about the male. Similarly, female alcoholics, they suffer from, they show reduced ovaries. The ovaries of a female alcoholic, they get reduced, they shrunk in size. The female alcoholics show menstrual irregularity. Menstrual irregularity. The menstrual cycle of the female, that becomes irregular, or mostly the female may show amenorrhea, or the menstrual cycle may stop altogether, right? Or a female may show abortions because of continuous alcohol consumption, the female may suffer from abortions. The placenta is not fully formed. The placenta starts degenerating after the pregnancy, right? So this is the effect of alcohol on sexual performance. So alcohol reduces the sexual performance. It destroys our sexual performance. In males, it may provoke the act. In males, alcohol consumption, it may stimulate your sexual thoughts. It may remove the sexual inhibition, but it takes away the performance. But in the long run, it makes you important because you develop this erectile dysfunction syndrome, and the seminiferous tubules they get destroyed, and a person is not able to become to to produce semen, so he becomes infertile. Similarly, in females, over long use of time, over prolonged due to prolonged alcoholism, the ovaries they shrink in size, so they are not releasing the hormones in appropriate levels. They are not producing the eggs normally. This leads to menstrual irregularity, or sometimes it leads to amenorrhea. And if a female is alcoholic and she is pregnant, she has greater risk of abortion because this alcohol it does not allow the placenta to develop normally, to develop in a good manner, right? So that is the effect of alcohol on sexual function. So these were the effects of alcohol on the individual's health, on the body of individual. But this alcohol also has got effect on the individual's family. Let us see what is the effect of alcohol on the family of that alcoholic person. So we know that this alcohol it is a costly item. So when an alcoholic works during the day, he earns some rupees, and at the end of the day he goes to buy this alcohol. So as he buys this costly alcohol, he drinks it, and what he had earned during the day is spent on this alcohol. So his family members they start suffering from financial problems, right? They don't get enough food to eat. The children don't get enough money to deposit their school fee, to buy good clothes, to buy books, etc. Right? So his family started suffering very severely. The family started suffering from malnutrition. The family starts suffering from lack of these daily items. The family starts feeling this deprived of their basic needs. So their children, the children of alcoholics, they start neglecting their studies. When their school fee is not deposited well in time, when they are not having enough money to buy books, when they are not having enough money to buy clothes, uniform, shoes, etc. So they feel inferior to others. They feel themselves inferior to others, and they start neglecting the studies. So they mostly remain absent from their schools, right? The family members start feeling depressed. They start having malnutrition. This they start this feeling of malnutrition. So this ruins this alcohol. It ruins the family fabric. It ruins the family fabric. So whatever the head of the family earned during the course of day, whatever he was earning during the day, is spent on the alcohol at the night. So the family members they are affected very severely, and this causes this depression, anxiety. This causes malnutrition in the family members, particularly children. They start losing interest in their studies and they start becoming antisocial. Right. So this is the effect of alcohol on family. This alcohol it has got effect on our society as well. So in our society, when there is a large number of alcoholics, they start doing some. They lose their moral inhibitions. They start doing antisocial activities. They start fights. They start crimes. And due to this alcoholism, most of the persons they suffer from road accidents. They suffer from industrial accidents, right? They fall in crimes, and that also ruins our society. So that is all about the effects of alcoholism. So I think this is section for today. Thank you.